they try to get the workouts, and I'll be like, hey, you know, I got you, but I need more than one, two.
Yeah.
Yeah, nigga, them varsity niggas ain't win a game, man.
Don't rush that. It's 2 out. I don't rush that.
Bruh, we went 0-28, man. Yeah,
0-28. What you talking about, basketball?
Hey, varsity level. The boys went
wow.
Man, I pulled down. I ended up winning 7. And they thought I was a guard around there.
Hey, that's the only win. That's the basketball win. You got to take them.
Yeah.
Okay. Program, coach.
That's it.
Yeah,
man.
Our football, we on 0-10 2 years in a row, man. We 0-20 with this new AD we got.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, hold on. The funny thing is, he went he's 0-20, right? But still managed to get them to put turf on the field. Talk about negotiating, right?
Hey, we just hired a brand new AD.
Yeah.
Brand new. Hey, look, and it was funny because the AD that come over, guess who his good partner is? That is Pagis.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Vegas.
Yeah. So I met that boy, and that boy was like, "Oh yeah, man, I know you. You Pagis classmate."
Classmate. He old school. What?
Yeah, young cat.
Oh yeah.
Young cat.
But how old is he?
I know he's younger than me.
Okay. Young. Okay.
Yeah, they trying to revamp it because them boys football team ain't won a game in about 4 years, man.
Oh man. What school is this at?
Northbrook.
Okay.
Yeah, you look it up, man. You ain't gonna see too many.
Yeah.
Wink out.
Come on, hurry up.
Good, man. You slow motion over there?
Man, look, bro, I got all types of just reading materials, bro. Just diving in, bro. That's all, man.
Yeah, man. I'm almost through with that subconscious mind. I didn't pass it off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a good one there, man.
You kind of get the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, you have with you. No one. Like you have more than 1,000 conversations with yourself through the whole day. So if the conversation that you having with yourself ain't positive, then what you think the outcome gonna be?
Yeah, that's gonna be the outcome. Yeah.
So that's the message that you sending yourself. So if the message that you trying to reach to yourself, if it ain't really attached to your goal in a positive way, then how the hell you gonna reach that goal?
Yeah, definitely, bro.
So, I mean, I like those mental approaches because it's something to it. You know, there's all this scientific research back behind the power of meditation. All the scientific research that's now literally like science tried to deny it, but science dove into it, and now science has no choice but to say, hey, this is what we found, and there's truth to it. So it's like, you know, that's kind of like that. You can't see faith, but you feel faith.
Right.
You know, like that kind of thing. So anyway, I love that mental stuff, dog. Love it. It's just been too many of these guys like Kobe, like too many of these examples that, you know, you think it's real, and then when you get around these Kobe's, these some like Kevin Hart's, like you get around some of these people that have done amazing things, man. These boys' mental capacity be strong, man.
I can believe it.
And you gotta see it. You gotta almost see it and believe it before it even happens. You know what I mean?
That's it. You gotta manifest it in your mind first.
Yeah, like, and then go after it too, though.
Yeah, man. But I like how Joseph Murphy, like, you know, for people who, you know, he ain't for everybody, but for people who like to tie certain ideas into the word, I think Joseph Murphy does a good job of showing you scriptures throughout the Bible that actually go side by side with his message, to where you don't feel like, man, this is just fluff. Like, nah, that boy's showing you actual scripture. You hear everybody else's interpretations about scripture, well, he's just showing you another interpretation. So you tie all that in. I mean, it's a reason for all of that stuff, man.
Yeah, that's what I found intriguing about it too, cause, and then he expresses things with the Bible verses, but he says them in a different way that is more. I think it's more plain.
Right.
Then it takes a lot of the trying to interpret what is it actually saying when he gives it to you cut and dry. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
If you go look at, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of those truth is truth. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like it doesn't matter what religion saying it, what anybody's saying it. Like, there's certain things about truth is truth. You know what I mean? Faith is faith. You know, and so like even in a regular church, a good preacher is gonna do that. He's gonna a definite, like growing up, you know, a good preacher be like, he related to me. I understand it. You know what I mean? It's like the Bible was written, like some of the books were written years and years ago, and whether it's the terminology trying to decipher. So like you said, Herb, it's like, and I want to look into that, because the clearer the message, sometimes the messages need to be clearer.
Right.
That's it.
So what led me to even, I guess, even going down these different paths to kind of figure out what's right with me is, I like to hear everybody's perspectives and viewpoints on everything before I stand strong in my own opinion. Because if I only have one view of something and I ain't never heard the other sides and the other angles from other people, then how can I be so confident in my opinion? And I always had an issue. This is me personally. I never liked going to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like preachers preaching to me. I didn't. That wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? So I had a problem with actual church. But I knew my faith and my spirituality was strong, but I didn't really care for everyone else's testimony, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although I could take their testimonies with a grain of salt, but it forced me to go and do my own diving and research and come to where I am now, to where now I can actually walk into a church and not be judging the actual pastor. You know what I mean? Like, I could just be in fellowship and be okay.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah.
So that,
definitely. You know, I mean, just the church in itself is just, it's just a building. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They say the church is just a building. And you gotta understand that those preachers that are there, heck, they human too. They make mistakes just like the next man. So I'm glad you're talking about how, you know, you do your own research, and that way you can understand what do you know, what's truth to you. That's real good, because most people, they'll just hear something and just believe it. Like, all right, because you said it, I believe you. Like, no, man. Like, you gotta you know, do the research on your own to figure out what is truth. That's good, man.
That's exactly it. And hold on, got a little spider here.
Uh-oh.
I don't play with those. No, but y'all hit it around the head, you know, what Lou Jack just said. And you know, the church is not the building. Okay, it's the people that's there that make up the church, right? And a lot of people just attend, and you know, that's just for me, who's someone who's married to a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
Okay. And I, you know, had to sit and look at this man. Well, he's just a man. For having dialogue with him, I further understand. And that's like, for me, I'm a deacon at my church. You know what I'm saying? So, but I still have my own personal, you know, I believe in what I believe, but I have to dig in and see for myself what, as far as how my faith went and what I actually believed in, you know?
Yeah.
because I was like Price. I'm like, I'm going to a church. I'm looking like, man, what this man finna tell me? Like, man, I hear you, but you probably done some of the things I've done, or
most definitely, yeah.
Running this whole joint, and people looking at you, you saying something, people saying it, running with it. You know what I mean? So you do definitely have to do research for yourself, and that's why people do a lot of times get a negative view of. I hate to use the word religion, but that's just what it is. I mean, because spirituality comes in a lot of different ways, but because, like for me, I attend a Baptist church, but I don't call myself a Baptist, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in what the word is telling me, but that's just where I go in fellowship, etc.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think for me, just in general, like one key topic, I think the big key I've been on, that draws me in is just the concept of faith, period. Like, and not religion making faith, but just like the spiritual realm, having faith as an element. Just like I got the physical form, I got the mental form, but the spiritual form through faith. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a missing power that a lot of us don't like. The religion sometimes takes away from the power of that spirituality, faith. You know?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Hey, but the key point is religion, quote unquote, is something that you feel is like obligated. You know what I'm saying? It's not a religion, it's more of a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a back and forth relationship. When you think about your spirituality.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a relationship and having fellowship.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I mean, I love that for sure. I mean, and shoot, I cannot deny any of my own testimony and my relationship with God. Like, I just can't deny it. But, along that, I've also recognized that there's been, and even in my personal family, it's Native Indians. You know what I mean? Indians, and their belief system was about land, earth, love, karma. You know what I mean? Like treating the earth a certain way, which is still God too in my mind. You know what I mean? That's all God. So then diving into, all right, let's say one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest souls to ever walk the earth, like Gandhi. You know what I'm saying? Like going into those personalities, like there's all these different examples, I guess, of spirituality around us, of people who have walked the earth and 15 times, in a more spiritual, I guess, faith-based way than I could ever imagine myself being. And the things and the message that they stood behind was all tied into what God's message is. Some people ain't never been even exposed to a Southern Baptist church or even exposed to Christianity. But these boys walking around with all the Christian values. You know what I'm saying? And that's those things I don't ignore, and those things I still embrace and want to learn from those people, because they doing things that I'm still striving to do from a Christian based faith. They morals and values, that they live them with much more discipline than I could ever live. So I like to dive into the other cultures and other religions, I guess to see where their core comes from and all that. It me.
Right. And ultimately, what I always look at is those, like you say, religions. Everyone believes in something greater than themselves, right? So when I look at it, even though it has a different name, a different whatever, everybody believes in something greater than themselves. And the only thing that can be greater than yourself is God, right? So in order for us to, and like you say, you talk about Price, talk about Gandhi and those people that were great. They were great servants, right? They were easily served people because they tapped into something that was way greater than themselves. And what I always like to remember is, you know, for us to, you have to have a vertical relationship, right, in order to have a horizontal relationship.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta have vertical to have a horizontal. Because if you're just thinking about yourself, you gotta think of something greater than yourself. And that's why I like when I ask me to talk about family, I'm like, that's the biggest thing, right? Because you gotta have a vertical relationship in order to share it with someone else. That could be family, friends, whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's real.
Hey, speak some more on that, man. Let's go ahead. I say go ahead and got some more. Like, let's go ahead and do it.
I got some things. So when I was looking at it, you know, of course, as always, since we are talking spirituality, so I looked at family. I said, well, what is family? And then you always find good things in Proverbs, right? So yes, Proverbs 17:7 say, a friend loves at all times, and a relative is born to help with adversity, right? And that's Proverbs 17:7. So,
hey, say that again, Herb. Say it again.
A friend loves at all times, and a relative is born to help in adversity. Right? A friend loves it, but a relative is there to help in our adversity. So then I said, well, let's look at the definition of what family is. Okay. Now, if you Google and look up the definition of family, you'll find a million things. And we all have a different definition of what family is. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to one core thing. But the one I took is a bond of love by closely related individuals, such as parents and children. And to extend it even further, when we talk about us in this group, it's like close friends, because we can all consider all of us family as brothers, right? Even though we were born of a different mother and father, we still have a family tie, right? Which makes total sense. Because again, what we were just dialoguing on, our faith, we're able to share these things with each other because we see each other as family, right? So, man, I just looked at that. So when thinking about this, I had to think about what was our greatest influences, or what was our example of family growing up, because we all had different paths on what it looked like.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we all knew each other, and we knew probably based the core of who y'all's family were, or my family was, etc. But we all had family outside of that, you know. And just Price being on the line, I knew Price had a big family. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? But being at home, you know, what did family look like? Was everybody in cahoots together? Was mom and dad right? Brothers and sisters, were y'all tight? What was it? So I guess we can talk about that a little bit. What was an example for family for y'all?
Man, I'm like, just for me personally, man, like, you know, growing up, being the only guy in the house, living with nothing but a bunch of girls, man. Like, every opportunity I got to leave. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister, I love my mother to death. You know what I mean? But just being there all the time, I couldn't do it. I had to be around other guys who I could relate to. I couldn't relate to them, but I couldn't relate to the females. I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So to me, my family, yes, they were my sisters and brothers, my sisters, but then the brother side of it, that's where y'all came in. Y'all filled that void of me having brothers, because I didn't have no brothers. You know, it was just me and girls. So I was like, you know, like, this is my family right here. So y'all were, you know, my biggest influence as far as my brothers. And then when I was going to y'all's homes, I would see what a mother and father, what that looked like. I didn't have it in my house. You know what I'm saying? For the longest time since I was, second, first grade. And to add on to that, then my senior year or my junior year, having, you know, Al and his mother, you know, and his sister, they allowed me to come live with them. Like that was like the best thing in my life that probably could have happened. Like to this day, like I cherish those moments. I was able to, you know, like I still can't believe, like, you know, they accepted me, let me come live with them for a year and a half. Just your mother, she didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to do that at all. So she showed me what love looked like and showed me what, you know, I wasn't born into their family, but they adopted me into their family, which I thought was like the most beautiful thing, man. That's, for me, that's where my sense of family come from. It don't have to be blood related. Yes, you know it is, but it could be anybody that you show love to, that you know, bring them into your house, you feed them, you know, you have a relationship with them, any kind of thing.
Yep. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it is. Like family. Like I always seen it. Like I know my mom. She always showed love like that. I think with pops, you know what I mean. This every like I had pops in my life till about 5th grade, about 5th, 6th grade, 7th grade. You know, that all around that area is when it's like you at the crib, kind of seeing like. So I know, like on that side of like trying to model yourself, like what does a husband and wife, a successful husband and wife look like? That's a missing piece right now. Honestly, to actually see it, that's something a lot of us like. You know, and even I know the family, the husband wives that's together. I know there's probably still stuff that they going through, but I know in our household, that's one thing I couldn't like. I still to this day like trying to figure out what's the best model of like husband and wife. Like right now, I've been looking at my sister and my brother-in-law relationship really tough as far as like husband and wife is dating a family. Like growing up, that I felt the love. My pops, I like always been there, even when they was getting divorced. He always been in my life. I can't never take anything away from that. And I was able to actually see him from like a one way to even see his growth, you know what I mean? Which I think for me, just trying to go into a man has been like looking at my family, looking at my being able to see my father, see some of his growth. That to me is like, okay, now I know I got to be better than that, even in his growth. But then like looking around at like we all family. So right now too, I've been more right now been looking at like how do I model starting my family, you know what I mean? And I'm looking at my family, you know what I mean, the people on the phone too, as like I am really looking at y'all as models and like, okay, how they treating their son, what they doing to bring them up, wife, everything. So that's how I look at it, like as y'all as family to try to get a better model of how do I start my family as I'm coming into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And
nah, that's big.
Yeah, go ahead, Pride.
Oh no, I was just saying like that's big. I mean, I guess, you know, my household, I was really blessed, you know, to have both of my parents in my life. But even inside that marriage, you know, shit, people don't know that I lived with my grandmother, you know, for 2 months. They didn't know that Pops was at house by himself. Me and Mom packed our shit and got the hell up out of there. Like people don't know the intertwined of even having both of your parents in your house and everything looking like peaches and cream from the outside, but I got to see everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I could relate to all my cousins, my aunts raising my cousins by themselves with no father. You know, I would be over their household, I would see this, I would be over here, I would see that. So then I took all these examples of what I was hearing from my cousins, what I was feeling from myself, and, you know, seeing my mom and dad work through their shit. The biggest blessing of everything was being able to see my mom forgive. You know what I'm saying? And also see my dad change. So seeing my dad change and seeing the commitment that he made in order to change, but also seeing that my mom was willing to forgive. So that lesson right there taught me a lot. You know what I mean? For me standing up trying to fight Pops, you know, I ain't never shared this shit. Like me squaring up with Pops, like literally trying to fight this nigga. You know what I mean? To, you know, all of a sudden having a love for my dad and appreciation for my dad, because now that I got my own, I'm in my own shit. I'm be like, damn, I didn't realize my dad had this weight on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I didn't know the magnitude of that. So now me and Pops can have these conversations like, man, Pops, I didn't know it was this hard.
Right.
You know, just to be a man in a relationship, one. But to be a man in a relationship and stay committed to that relationship, two.
Yeah.
And then be able to have a voice, raise your kids, and still have some me time, three. Like, how do you mix all this stuff in without getting in trouble for one or the other? You know, like,
and I'm glad you said that. And just to touch on what Al was saying, you know, you are coming into the whole family dynamic too. But that's what we hear again. Proverbs 29:17, iron sharpens iron. So that's what we here for too. And like Price, like at my career, it was the flip, the opposite of that. You got Big Herb and Teresa and there, they good. I'm thinking, okay, this is what, you know, you got to learn these different examples. I'm seeing y'all families, then 23 years of marriage, and y'all decide that it's done. I'm confused as hell. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out as I start to get my own, and then, you know, Pop start telling me stuff when he thought I was a man, you know, like, bro, you out here wild. Like, so, no, I'm just being real. Like, so my whole personal thing, honestly, guys, is I always love my daddy to death. But I said I would never be that guy in a relationship. Now, did I fail? Yes. Remember, this is my second marriage and my last. But at the same time, those were a learning experience for me to see and to grow, to know what I wanted to do and what I wanted out of my family. Now, I joke about it all the time. My family dynamic is very different, okay? I call myself like a piece of wood. I got 3 by 3. You know what I'm saying? And it's what it is. You know, I got a daughter and 2 daughters, and I got my son, you know, with me now, but I was able to grow into where that works for me. Well, their parents and my wife, everybody's cool. We can sit in the room, have powwows, come over, chill, let's shoot the crap, have a drink. But that took time because again, it took growth for me to understand as a man what my role was. And it's funny, I was talking about it, like Price was saying, trying to balance all of those things. So I actually, right here, I said, because the thing I really wanted to focus on when talking about family, what is a man's role when it comes to family? What is our job? And that was really what I wanted to really, really focus on, because those are the things that we have every single day. And what are we supposed to be doing? So, like, I had the opportunity again, like I said, you know, I do a lot of speaking and talking at church. I've talked to a bunch of men, you know, and that's totally different from me, but I do it because I'm passionate about it, because I know where I came from as a husband and a father to where I am now. And I'm able to share, like you said, like Price was saying earlier, that's to me, that's my testimony. You know what I mean? Because I share that all the time, because people see Herb now and think I'm still the let's go turn up.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to have this one and that one, but that's not life. You know what I mean? That's not real life. You know, being a husband first, father second. So one of the things that I basically base all my things about trying to be balance those things is what I call the 4 P's. Okay, it's really 5, but we're gonna touch on 4, and I'll tell you the 5th one at the end is we got our role as men. Number 1, we're to be the priest of our house. Period. What does that mean? Do your family believe the way you believe? right? Do they follow what you believe in your beliefs? And does it work? You see what I mean? Because sometimes we come into different situations, and I've had a lot of guys come and tell me, "Hey, this is my wife, but she believes this and she believes that." Price, I know you had a little bit of that situation before too, you know, being where you from. So, and the thing is, being a priest, that's the first piece. Being a priest of your house, you have to change yourself again. You can't do a lot of things. Like the hardest thing for me was getting married and having single friends. You know what I mean? It don't work. You can try, you can, you know, because at some point you're gonna get put in a situation. And what happens when you're in those situations? You start thinking like, oh, okay, what am I? Is this wrong with me doing this, or should I be doing this, or is anybody here that she know? You know what I mean? So we always have to model a certain behavior, you know, when we're trying to be the leader and priest of our house, you know, because it's always good for our family to believe how we believe. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So the thing is, we run into situations where, you know, it's gonna be differences because we're all brought up different, right? And we gonna hear, because all of us in here are married men, that we had to do some changing, modifying ourselves, right? Because our wife always believed something differently, but we were able to become together because we did have some of the same beliefs. Because, you know, that good word said you got to be equally yoked, you know what I mean, in order for anything to work. So that's one. Yeah. If y'all want to comment on that, feel free, because it's tough, man. Because the lust of the world, man, it makes it hard. Because one thing I always said that I never wanted to do, one thing that I did learn, I mean, it's not negative, but I just call it learning that. I mean, because, you know, your pops teach you a lot of stuff. My pops taught me a lot of good things. He taught me a lot of negative things too. One thing that I personally lived by for a while.
I'm mad because I already know that's how I am. I know Pops got that's what Pops do.
Yeah, I live by that thing. But one thing I never wanted to do was when I started, I never wanted to contradict myself.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to live like a double life. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be one way this time and another way another time. So as my role as a man, when it comes to my family, I have to be the spiritual leader and show by example. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the one thing I get from that, man, it takes sacrifice. You know what I mean? I think, and leadership, I think, is a lot of leadership is based on sacrifice for the greater, right, for the team, because we equally yoked. We came together as one. But if I'm the leader, but we won, there's some sacrifices. Like if I know we're trying to go left and they keep rolling right, I can't just keep going left while they going right. I'm gonna have to stop, pull them. Like it's just part of it. Where it's like, I can't do I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do what's best for me. I'm going to have to make some sacrifices, whether that's, you know, changing up my routine, or especially I think this is what I'm getting to, or trying to do, or trying to shoot for, is like situations where I might be like, if it were you know, you might be wanting to get upset about something, or you might be like, why are they doing this? But instead of that, trying to be like, okay, that's how they are. Like, I know I got certain ways. Like, how can I maximize? It might mean I have to do something I don't normally want to do.
There you go.
But it'll still be better for both of us. And as the leader, like, that's a sacrifice I got to make. And then hopefully, and the goal is that's going to be a reflection, right? So then now you start doing that. Okay, she's going to start doing that. You then, don't worry about that. I'm going to clean that. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a thing that I've been trying to work on is just like that. Now I'm trying to think, and from what I've been gathering about what can I do to help make it work and try to get the most out of the relationship is just trying to be open to sacrifice, open to just being patient, you know, that whole nine.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I think the marriage thing is, and Lord knows I'm grateful for my wife. And me and my wife have had challenges that I don't wish on nobody. But for one common factor that still strong in our relationship is that we fought for each other.
Yep.
And sometimes outside influence, sometimes, you know, bad examples from her childhood. And don't get me wrong, listen, my dad, let me just be 100% clear. My dad is straight up my hero. Like, literally, my pops I look up to my pops.
Yep.
Like, I ain't judging no decision. Like, I really love and care for my pops. My pops is one of those dudes that's committed to service.
Sure.
But he's, you know, if he ain't got no drink in him, he's super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He observes everything. He really quiet, but if he got some drink, he'll open up and talk. And you know, you get to see that other side of. But for the most part, Pops is real quiet. But I respect that man deeply, you know. But anyway, with that being said, seeing him and my mom become best friends again, you know what I mean? Like, that's huge. So always, there's been a couple things that I never allow myself to do. I never allow, we made rules and we hold each other accountable with, because these are things that I saw that I don't ever want to happen. I don't ever want to go to bed mad.
Never.
Never. Like, I don't give a damn how bad of an argument it is. We ain't going to bed mad at each other. Like, we're not doing that. Because if you and your wife talk about the big picture all the time, and you talk about what's important to both of you all the time, then you'll realize them minor ass fights don't fit in that picture. So when you talk about a minor topic, something that's small, and you be like, listen, look at what we are arguing about right now. Is this a part of our big picture of what we want in our relationship? If this is aligned with what we want, then let's keep talking and battling about it. You know, if this ain't got nothing to do with what then let's get through this and be done with it. We ain't going to bed upset. Right? Like, and there's all these different books, you know, they talk about what your love language is. I don't know if y'all read the love languages and all that stuff, right? Like, there's all these examples out there. But tying it back into the word, there's so many examples. I like the leadership Bible. So I like to read oh my, I just had oh man, who was the author? Maxwell. Sorry. Yeah. So it's the whole Bible, but it also has little cliff notes of of the leadership that's going on between the scriptures, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, tying all that stuff in, you get to see, like, sometimes 80% of it is on us, fellas. Like,
hey,
80, it's the 80-20 rule, dog. Like, we stubborn. It's 80% of it is on us. Sure. Like, literally, if we go up and touch our wife and say, I'm sorry, it's over.
And yeah, and I'll make the price, because that's exactly it. And I'm with you, because me and my wife, we had an unspoken thing that, for one, she know I totally dislike disharmony. I don't like no disharmony, so I ain't going to sleep until all this stuff is rectified. Okay, everything, whatever it is, and that leads me to the second P, which is we're not only supposed to be priests, we're supposed to be protectors. So, like Price said, it's all falls on us as the man, because, again, going back to that word, God made the woman the weaker vessel for a reason. So it's up to us to protect everything we can about our personal relationship. You know what I mean? And that's because when we talk about our wife, we talk about our kids. You know what I mean? it's our job to protect that space again, and it begins and ends with us as men, right? And we can't just sweep stuff under the rug, you know. And again, that's a good thing you got in place there, Price. Cause again, I don't want to be upset. What's the if and it goes to the old adage. I know it's cliche. I know it's cliche. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, bruh. But think about this. Like you talk about, like, I like the word energy, but you talking about wasted energy on being angry. You know what I'm saying? And then I think it's in Proverbs. I can't remember which one, but be slow to anger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know which one it is, but like if you let your, like, I mean, come on, man. Let's just think about the grand scheme, the grand whole picture of life. Like, why waste time on anger? Why waste energy on being angry? And then to add to that, we let our stubbornness fuel our anger to where it lasts longer than it should be.
Yep.
When you're talking about a relationship fight, you stubborn, you don't want to give in. You want to hold your point strong. And now y'all walking around the house, then you act like you don't see the other one. You want to walk by, you know what I mean? You're just awkward as hell. And all that wasted energy for what?
And that's unhealthy.
It's for what though? You know what I'm saying? Just to show, let me walk past you and not look at you because I'm trying to show you that that's some childish shit. You know what I'm saying?
Look at this though. The enemy don't want y'all in agreement, because that agreement, that's what make it happen. Because Jesus said with 2 or 3 in agreement, he gonna make it happen. Whatever y'all believing for. So when you out of agreement, things don't get done. Whether your finances get straight, y'all be on one accord to get anything done with your family, anything. He wants you out of agreement because things get out of whack when the agreement is out of contact, bro. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, your wife, your partners, he wants you out of agreement. So you ain't gonna see your full purpose. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm late though, but I can caught on real quick.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, man. I was at work tripping, you know what I'm saying? But
You good.
Yeah, it's good. No, that's what we on for. That's what we was on.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah, cool.
B. You're right.
Yeah, that's good. And then,
all these worldly issues that's going on right now, it's trying to cause friction right now. So
exactly.
so like what you were saying, Herb, if you ain't bunkered down being the first P, the priest in your family, right? If you ain't showing a sign of strength, if you ain't showing the sign of discipline, if you ain't showing the sign of that positive energy that you putting off to your family, then how do you expect them to respond in times like this?
Right, exactly. And that goes into being a protector too. And I noted right here, I say the family goes as we go.
Right.
You just touched on that. The family goes as we go as men. And that's, and that's anybody. And that goes back to being an example. Whether you have, with your extended family or your immediate family, right? So then, cause at the end of the day, they call us the head. Without the head, what? The body gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta remember that. And then you gotta look at third P. Now this is one I always like to look at, cause I had long slap down conversations with a lot of men about this one, is being, what does it look like to be a provider? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people tie that to money.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, money is an issue because the old adage, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
Man was put on this earth to work, right? So, what does this role look like to y'all? I want to know what everybody's perspective is on what it means to be a provider. I mean, I know we got to go to work, we got to make money.
Yeah.
Then, can you still provide outside of the money issue? Right?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff underneath that provide umbrella. There's a lot of stuff underneath there, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's physical, it's emotional, it's, where you're raising your kids up. Just there's so much that you can say underneath that providing, man. just making sure your kids are in a good space. It's not only your kids, but your wife as well.
Right.
You know, knowing that if something even let's say something happened to you, how you gonna provide when you gone too? You gotta think about that. Are they gonna be financially provided for when you gone? How they gonna live without you? You gotta set them up for now and for their future.
Right. And that's why I was looking at, we talked about last week, we were talking about generational wealth. Right. We weren't doing that. When you talk about generations, you're not talking about yourself. Again, what that comes back to, your horizontal, your vertical, to be able to give you horizontal, right? Because you talk about the generational wealth, that's for the good of your family, not yourself. That's for somebody else. So that's when we, like you said, it's a lot of things that can go under the provider umbrella, right?
Well, when you talk about generational wealth, so I'm gonna take it away from finances right now. So a couple thoughts come to my mind that I always like, man, we got to change this, right? So as Black males raising Black men, right? The emotional support is crucial because it's not very many Black men. Everybody talking about be tough, be this, be that. You know, like, niggas talking to you like, you better be a man.
Right.
Like, all right, I get that. But how many Black men are hugging their son and telling them that they love them? Daily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
How many Black men are actually letting their son have an emotional moment without telling them, boy, stop all that goddamn crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, like, we can't be bullies to our children, dog. Like, especially
right.
I mean, like, it ain't about, like, I get the tough side. Come on, man. We all play sport. I get that. Like, I understand that. But come on, man.
Yeah.
You just can't do one side of it. And I wish B was on the phone right now, because Dal Wayne, you know, was a great example for all of us who, you know, we all had these strong personality dads that was like on you. You know what I mean? Like on you. Like they talking to you like your boy. You know what I mean? Like, but on the flip side, like, we were strong enough to handle that emotional side of things.
Right.
Our own personalities. Ain't nothing that our parents did for us. Our own individual personalities. We were strong enough. But now you look at our culture as a whole. How many of us are locked up? How many of us, you know, suffer from depression and suffer from things like this that ain't ever brought up in our communities because they don't even know what it is they dealing with. You know what I mean? It's a lot of emotional damage in our communities, and we all know where that stems from. So to fast forward to our generation right now, we raising men. So what do we do to change the narrative of the next generation of Black men that's coming up under us, or our children, right? It's to teach them, love them, and show that love. Like, I'm good with my girls being tough, but I want my boy to show compassion and have knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to be able to understand that. But my daughter, she could be feisty. My son could be feisty too, but in a quiet way, with some compassion behind it. So that's something to think about, man. But then here's the other part. Sorry, to leave a legacy for generations. What you talking about, what we talking about, man, start writing that stuff down so it could be in the Jackson legacy. It could be in the Walker legacy. It could be in the Washington legacy. It could be in the Hughes legacy. You start writing down things that you done been through so that your great grandkids, they can go back and look at passages and stuff that you wrote to help them through things that they might be dealing with. Talk about life and your perspective of life. Talk about faith and your perspective of faith. Talk about things that you done did in your walk with businesses and investments and money management. And that's your family legacy. That's your family journal that you passing down to your son or your daughter. Your daughter can add to it, pass it down. Now you got this documentation of a rule book, of your family book, dog, that they get to see, man, my great-grandpa thought about this, and he thought about me when he wrote this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because that in itself, that in itself gonna have them thinking generational, right? Like they're not gonna be thinking about self because they can see the example has showed me I need to be thinking about my generations down the line, right? Like if you don't know that, we not only people not hearing about it, but like you said, writing it down or showing that example.
Man, that's good, man.
Truly leaving a legacy of leaving legacies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. And that change the narrative. Because I read an article when I was looking at this, I was reading an article, and they were just talking about the black family and the black man in the family. And it's basically that in a nutshell, basically they was trying to say that most black men, I think it was around 72% of black men that have been incarcerated and stuff like that is because they never had a male figure to show them the type of love that they needed to be shown, not the whole just be tough all the time. You see what I'm saying? And like you said, that's something that should be shared from. And that's why we're talking about what our role should be, because we should be able to share that from your son, his sons, and then, all the way down. And that's excellent there, man. I like that.
It ain't easy. Trust me. It ain't easy. As soon as your son walk out and he do something that you be like, boy, you better stop that shit, boy. You know what I mean? Like,
and since we're talking about that, yeah. And my thing is this: with my son, because of age, one thing, and I thank this man is my father-in-law, and like I said, he is a pastor. He told me this. He said one thing I always tell, because he got all girls, but he always said, you gonna grow up. You're going to be your own person. You're going to be an adult. But you come from me. So whenever you decide to do what you do, just don't go out there and mess up my name. Period. And then people going to talk about you. People going to say things. People going to do whatever. And I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced that. Mm-hmm. But people can say whatever they want to say. Just make sure it ain't true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's something we gotta remember. Man, that's good, man. I like that part. All right, number 4, guys. So we talk about being a priest, protector, provider. And this last one, and this, and this can go for all guys. Even when you're dating, and us married guys, be a pursuer.
Yeah.
Man, listen. Don't stop pursuing your wife.
Yeah, right.
That's an ongoing thing. And we kind of touched on it. You know what I'm saying? And even Al kind of mentioned earlier, like, okay, I'm gonna try to go ahead and clean this up or do, whatever. But us as men, we learned a long time ago, just being young. I'm pretty sure. I can speak for myself. My pops, boy, you always better take care of your house. And we know what he meant when he did that. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, being a pursuer, we should always be, again, looking to take care of our significant other, whoever it is, in a way that's pleasing. Not just for our own self, but that's what our job is to do. Because like Price said earlier, it is, and it stops with us. So always pursue your wife, because I've talked to a bunch of guys, man, and they came and said, well, she don't like to do this and she don't like to do that. But then you have to look at self. What are you not doing? Are you not doing the 3 things we just talked about? Because a woman is not gonna not do something for a man that does everything he needs to do for her, right? And Brett, I'm sure you can back me up on this. I can't call the scripture. It's a scripture in the Bible that says something about milking the cow, and they're not talking about a normal cow. You have to feed it in order to produce milk, right?
I'm gonna say, do the things you did in order to get with your significant other, your fiance, your wife, the things you did to get her, the things you need to continue to keep her.
Man.
Do those same things, if not even more. Now that she done agreed to marry you, that, you know what I mean, that y'all put in them years, things you did to pursue her, just continue to do that, man.
Yeah, you got to. Can't change.
And don't have, once again, this is something from our culture for whatever reason. We have a hard time letting our guard down and being vulnerable.
You gotta be.
We don't want to show no signs of vulnerability. We just don't. We don't like to go there, right? But as soon as you open up to your wife and show her all sides of you, good, bad, ugly, the sad, the insecurities, you show them everything of you. Man, your woman will cut for you in a way that you ain't never seen before. Like, a woman wants to cut for their man. You talking about the one person that'll stand up and fight for you? Hey, none of us, I'll fight for all of y'all. I'll physically fight for all of y'all. But I guarantee you, your woman gonna fight harder than I would. So what I'm saying is you gotta allow her, you gotta show that side to let her be your soldier next to you, dog. You know what I mean? You gotta open up a little bit. So, or more than a little bit. So just remember that, man. Like, don't always have your guard up, because if you have your guard up too much, then she ain't gonna, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, she'll
close.
It's gonna be like a brick wall. She's not gonna, she can't handle it all the time, that intensity all the time like that. You gotta let your guard down. Especially with your woman, man. You have to.
Right.
He gonna know you better than anybody.
Yeah, like you should know when you lying anyways. You know what I mean? Or you fronting. Like, come on, like this ain't you.
Yeah. Now, and I'm gonna be totally open with you guys, man. I'm gonna be real. Now, come August, I'll be married 4 years.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And I promise. I said, after I got divorced and all that stuff, I wasn't ready, of course. I mean, I was a different guy. But I said, I'd never get married again. I said that to myself.
Yeah.
And I tried to believe that. So I went out there, granted, that's why I got, whatever. But I really tried to believe that. But my wife, again, she caught me, and she was able to tap into me the way no other chick has ever done so. And I was vulnerable enough to, be there. And I'm like, this is, how did she do that? You know what I mean? So therefore, that's why every day, like you say, you gotta pour into it, and you gotta pour into your relationship, because whatever you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it, right?
Definitely.
That's why you gotta continue to do different things. Now, does it get tough? Yeah, because I mean, if it was peaches and cream, everybody would do it. You know what I mean? Everybody do it. I mean, and then you gotta wait for the right time. But at the same time, that's how, because like I said, when we started out talking, my mom and pop was married 23 years and got divorced. So I'm looking at it like 20 years? How do you just get rid of that? You know what I'm saying? So when I look at my own relationship, I say, well, I'm going to make 40, 50 years, if I can, if the good Lord let me do that. And I have examples, right? Because Price been married longer than everybody in here. What you going on, Price?
Man, I've been with my woman going on 18 years in October, but we've been married. It'll be 12 years in July. But we've been together for 18.
Okay.
Listen, bro.
So therefore, that's why we in here, and we can ask different questions. Because I know my question was gonna be, if I ever get to, I'm gonna say, dang, Frank, man, bro, you in this thing 12 years, man. I'm on 4, man. Like, what keep you going? You know what I'm saying? So
it's everything that we talk. It's everything that we talked about, and trust me, with each milestone, there's gonna be different challenges. With each child, there's a new challenge. With each move, with each move, and then my brother-in-law said something that was really cool, and it hit me pretty hard. And he said that, he said that, like, you got to understand there's growth that's happening in your relationships, individual growth. So I might be going through a personal growth in myself, right? So I'm getting to the better, a better version of me. Well, my wife, she might not be making that same stride while I'm making that stride. So there might be some friction. What B was talking about, they don't want, like, there's bad energies out there that don't want that growth, right?
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, you call it the devil, whatever you want to call it, they don't want that growth. You know what I mean? So anyway, there might be times to where your woman is growing, and she's not literally coming out and telling you that she asking you to get to that next level, but you can feel some friction, and there's gonna be some friction in the relationship. You see your woman doing more things for you, like being more of a servant to you, being nicer in the arguments, and you trying to argue, and she's like, "Nah, babe." Like, you gonna get frustrated. I'm sorry, you gonna get frustrated. Well, she done made a personal growth, a stride up, and now she asking you to raise your level up, and let's get past this together. But when y'all ain't aligned, when there's one individual growing and the other individual ain't, it's gonna cause friction. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make them upward movements as much as you can together, or you're gonna get left behind, and that's when the relationships start to fall.
I'm mad on that. This real, hey, you gotta understand that y'all on the same team, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you gotta tell, hey, we on the same thing. We want the same thing, baby. Like, we want to grow and prosper. Like, there's no need for us to be fighting over nothing right now. Like, we in this together. We gonna win together. We gonna lose together. There ain't no separation. We're gonna win together. We're gonna lose together. Where you want to go? You know what I'm saying? So in the end of the day, you gotta remind that we're on the same team. Like, what are we fighting for? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And to take it on a funny note, but I know it ain't gonna ever get there. But if you ever had to bury somebody, your wife gonna be right there with you.
That's it, man.
She gonna be digging that hole with you, brother. Sure.
That's it, man. Now, that's good, man. And then, hey, that's basically all I got, guys. But to add that fifth piece, man, when you put all those four things together, that gives us our purpose, man. You see what I'm saying? It's our purpose, man. We got to just understand our role and try to keep getting better and use each other. You know, because like Al coming into a new situation, gonna have a son. Hey, Al, I'm gonna just be real with you right now, brother. You gonna have that kid? Shit's gonna change, man. just gotta be strong.
Yeah.
You have to up it a little bit as the man, because it's just gonna be different emotions. You know what I mean?
Time management, brother. Manage your time and put value. Invest in your family. Like we talk about money investments and stuff like that, but man, there's times where investing in your family is number one priority, because the beauty that I've seen and we've all seen and heard stories about, there's too many examples that's close to me. One good example, no longer living. One of my good friends, met him. He was at my back. I met him. The young dude that was at the bachelor party. You know what I'm saying? That boy was investing the money, but wasn't spending time with the family. He no longer living. I got too many examples of close friends that have literally ended their life, or are damn near on the verge of being in mental hospitals because of depression and all this other stuff, and got all the money in the world. But them boys they didn't put the same time and energy in their family as they did to their business.
There you go.
And so no money does not solve anything, because like I said the last one, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and be okay with the man that's looking back at you, then all them other damn demons is gonna creep in and it's gonna ruin the shit that you hold really valuable to yourself. So Al, just remember that, dog, because I know you entrepreneur at the heart, and you got a lot of positive to give to the world, and you're gonna continue to give to the world. But as long as that 50-50 or that 60-40 split is investing into your family and your child, that time management is gonna be key, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Sheldon.
What's good?
You good?
Yeah, shit. I've been in and out. I jumped on later. I had some stuff I was doing outside. I was trying to get it situated with my pops, and then when I jumped on, my battery died on me a little while after, so I had to move here, get the phone plugged up. I jumped on. Herb was on there preaching, man. I say, I ain't know Herb was on there preaching.
Yeah, man, but man, this is really good, man. I think we really need to keep it up, man. And because hey, we family guys, man. This is what it is.
Yeah,
One more thought, Herb.
Yeah.
If you get angry, let that anger release in this chat. You know what I'm saying? Let that anger release in here, and let us diffuse that anger.
Yeah.
If you can't diffuse it at home,
That's
go ahead and bring it in here. Bring it in here, and let's all talk through it as brothers, because that's one thing that men don't have. They don't have nobody, because if you got a bunch of single friends and you talking about some marriage shit, they're gonna be like, nigga, why you in that marriage anyway? Nigga, you should be with us.
Hey,
so
I know for me, I been needing that, man. I need y'all, man, big time. That's good though, man. This is really, and again, and then the time we're going through in the world, man. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done. Like this, to me, we all have different opinions on it, whatever, but it's just something to look at how God can take the world, sit everybody still, and then they have no choice but to get closer to their family. You have no choice.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it should. Yeah, it is some negative that's coming out of this, man, and we see it here in Houston a lot. Man, the domestic violence and all that's through the roof right now. It's crazy. Every day on the news, you see something wow, man. But that's just the thing is where people just ain't. You do things for the wrong reason, but this is a time now where I think a lot of families are coming back together, man, and everybody's building their relationships and growing.
Shit, this family got back together. What you mean?
Yeah.
This
There you go. Yeah.
It is. Every night, we went from sending a text here and there, a call here and there. Now we get to see each other too. Shoot.
Yeah.
I think. But that's it, man. Y'all good? Good.
Yeah, man. We'll take that, man. We'll take that. I love it, bro. Like that was some good words today, man. I definitely appreciate it. This stuff I'm gonna take back. I'm gonna take back out the room when I get off the call. Just to keep it rolling, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Spirit.
Yeah, man. This is something to think about, man. I try to think about that every day, man. Just when I wake up, like, okay, what's my job today?
Yeah. I like those 5 P's.
Yeah, what's my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do today as the man in this house? And thank God I got somewhere to stay.
Yeah, right.
Y'all don't get me started.
Let's go jot that down in the journal now. The 5 P's.
Yep.
For
5 P's, man.
For good close off, Herb, can you just run off those P's one more time so we just all soak them in? And then
all right now. Be the priest, protector, provider, pursuer. You do those 4, you'll find your purpose.
Yes, sir.
I like it.
Yeah.
And then Al, you writing that down?
Yeah. I got that.
I think I got it in my head. I ain't got my kids was up there doing jumping jacks with roller skates on. Felt like so.
I'm gonna shoot that same thing to the group then if y'all want to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Al, who is it? Is it Lou or Brett? One of y'all next? You know what I mean? Bring something to the group.
I get it. It'll just be over mentoring.
Cool.
Mentoring the youth for sure.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah. So.
Well, I love y'all, brothers. I hope I make y'all feel awkward and uncomfortable when I say it, but I'm gonna keep on saying it. I love y'all, brothers.
Love y'all
for sure,
too,
man.
I love you too, brother, man.
Love y'all for sure.
All right, man.
All right, man. Next time.
Yes,
Peace.